Beyond Netero. The man who claims to carry the blood of the legendary chairman, Isaac Netero. His sudden appearance opened a Pandora's box, throwing the world into a vortex of chaos and excitement. But the deeper we look into his existence, the more we are confronted with an unshakable sense of wrongness. This is not merely the story of a secret son. This is a glimpse into a terrifying possibility, that the Dark Continent has already reached out and touched humanity. Chapter 1, The Authenticity of the Bloodline and the Possibility of Mimicry. Let us begin with the most fundamental question: is he truly Netero's son? There is a disturbing detail in the last will and testament left by Chairman Isaac Netero. He did not say, "when my son appears." He chose his words with chilling precision, "when a person calling himself my son appears." Why this distance? Why this phrasing that sounds like he is speaking of a stranger? Even the Zodiacs, Netero's most trusted circle, knew nothing of Beyond's existence. For a man like the chairman to keep such a secret so perfectly implies that this son was a taboo subject, something that should never be spoken of. When Beyond finally revealed himself, the Zodiacs were struck by his appearance. He was the spitting image of Isaac Netero in his prime. But this perfection is exactly what makes it suspicious. The scars on his face, the beard, the overwhelming aura, it feels less like a biological resemblance and more like a reconstruction. This leads to a horrific theory: what if Beyond is not human? He is one of the few survivors of a past expedition to the Dark Continent. A place inhabited by creatures capable of unimaginable things, like the gas life form I that feeds on desire, or Pap that keeps humans as pets. If the real Beyond died on that continent decades ago, what returned in his skin? Is he a mimic? A creature from the Dark Continent wearing a human suit? If so, his desperate drive to return to the Dark Continent is not an exploration. It is a homecoming. Or perhaps, an invasion. Chapter 2, The Theory of Reincarnation, Netero himself. But there is another theory. One just as crazy, yet undeniably fitting for the old monster we knew as Isaac Netero. The reincarnation theory. Consider the name Beyond. It means to go further, to cross over. What if this name signifies Isaac Netero crossing the boundary of death itself? Remember Lynn hors d'oeuvre, the oldest hunter who once traveled to the Dark Continent with Netero. Her name, Lynn, sounds like the Japanese word for reincarnation. If she possessed an inability related to transferring souls or restoring youth, could she have helped her old friend? Isaac Netero placed a restriction on the Dark Continent: "I will not permit it until I die." This sounds like a rule for his son. But it could also be a trick for himself. Once I die, the restriction is lifted. If Isaac transferred his consciousness into a younger, stronger vessel, a clone or a son bred for this exact purpose, he could bypass his own rule. The arrogance Beyond displays, treating the Zodiacs like children and manipulating Periston with ease. That isn't the confidence of a son living in a shadow. That is the soul of the monster himself, finally free from his aging body, ready to play in the ultimate arena once again. Chapter 3, The Disturbing Connection with the Kakan Princes. This darkness extends to the current Kakan succession contest. On the Black Whale ship, 14 princes are slaughtering each other for the throne. But look closely. Why do these princes, who have never trained in Nen, suddenly manifest terrifying guardian spirit beasts? Why does the fourth prince, Saradnik, possess a talent for Nen that rivals the most evil potentials in history? The theory is simple: the princes are Beyond's children. King Nasabai and Beyond have been co-conspirators for decades. It is highly possible that Beyond's genetic material, that cursed bloodline of immense vitality, was used to father the candidates. Before the ship departed, Beyond saw a woman, likely carrying his child, crying in the crowd. His reaction was void of any emotion. He simply noted, "That woman is crying, isn't she?" To him, children are not family. They are ammo. The succession contest is essentially a Kodoku ritual, an ancient curse where poisonous insects are sealed in a jar and forced to devour each other until only one remains. Beyond is waiting. Not for a king to be crowned, but for the sole survivor of his bloodline, the strongest, most dangerous monster, to emerge as the perfect partner for his journey into the dark. Chapter 4, The Essence of Power is Resilience. This brings us to the core of his character. If Isaac Netero was the embodiment of strength, individual martial perfection, then beyond Netero is the embodiment of resilience. Isaac sought to be the strongest individual. Beyond seeks to be the ultimate survivor. Decades ago, Beyond failed in the Dark Continent. He lost his team to the zombie disease and the weapon entity Brian. But he survived. And he brought back the failure not as a defeat, but as data. He waited 50 years. He manipulated the V5 nations. He turned himself into the Hunter Association, effectively forcing the Zodiacs, the world's strongest nin users, to become his personal bodyguards for the trip. I will wait. For however long it takes. He uses everything. Enemies, laws, time, even his own father's death. Isaac Netero was a light that crushed his opponents from the front. Beyond Netero is a shadow that devours everything to clear his path. He is not just an explorer. He is the most dangerous artifact humanity has ever produced. And now, he is leading us straight into the mouth of the unknown. Conclusion, the voyage to calamity. I will wait. For however long it takes, that sentence echoes in the silence of his cell. The black whale cuts through the waves, carrying humanity's hopes, greed, and a ticking time bomb named Beyond Netero. Whether he is an imposter wearing a human face, the reincarnated ghost of the strongest chairman, or a cold-blooded father sacrificing his own children for power, the destination remains the same. He is not just a prisoner. He is the conductor of this symphony of death. Is he the guide to a new world, or the reaper leading us to extinction? The truth lies in the darkness ahead. And deep inside the ship, the man with the X scars is smiling. Because he knows that the real hunt is just beginning.